Hi, I'm Avalon Starlight, and you are listening to the Rebel Unicorns podcast. This season, I'm super stoked because we are talking about something very near and dear to my heart, chakras, and how they can completely transform your life and your business. Listen each week as I share my own chakra experiences, as well as introducing you to incredible guests with their own chakra stories. Are you ready? Let's get our Rebel on. Wow, Rebel Unicorns, we've done it! We are now on your Crown Chakra, which is the last floor of your energetic body. We're going to think of this one as the skylight, right? This is the skylight in the tower of your energy body. We've been floor to floor, and this is the one that allows in all the magic, all the divine light, all of source energy to flow into your being, into your body, to travel through all the other floors, to be reflected back up from the root when you're grounded into who you are and who you serve in this beautiful bat signal of essence, of soul purpose, of mission, of stardust. And yeah, it's powerful. It's a powerful, powerful floor. And I just want to make note before I dive back in, because I know I left you on a bit of a cliffhanger in Third Eye, that the conclusion episode coming up is really powerful because it's going to just give you kind of like the Coles notes or the Cliff notes, depending on if you're Canadian or American. We were Coles notes, you guys in the States were Cliff notes. But basically, it's just going to run through how fast can you know when you're in resistance? So what is the resistance in each of the chakra systems? There's one way that it presents in each one. Probably don't remember them all. So if you have a pen and paper next week to jot them down, it'll just be quick and fast and easy. And I'm also going to give you the fastest way for you to shift out of that. So what is one thing that you can do to kind of pull yourself back into alignment? And it will involve some sort of like choice, because as humans, that's the one gift that we have been given outside of all other populations of creatures on this earth, is that they don't choose. They just intuitively know. And we have that opportunity to make choice. That is our free will. And so, I think that free will is even kind of an important thing to talk about when we're talking about the crown chakra, because even when we get into the divine and trust and faith and belief and all of this, the superpowers above are not saying this is how we dictate your life. We're just going to jam things into your crown chakra and tell you that this is how it has to go and this is who you have to be and this is how you have to do it. We don't get that information that way. That's not how divine downloads come. Even when they're giving us information and offering us feedback and saying, we're getting the intuitive hits or we get those gut responses, we as the human still get to make the decision of whether we take action on what we're receiving, whether we even believe it. Could it be possible for us? Am I, the person that this is for? And we talked about this already a few times in the series when I received the message into my awareness that I could read chakras, that, I had a choice right there. In that moment, when they said, you can read chakras, when that dropped in my crown like it was hot and I received it into my third eye and I trusted the information right away. And I wasn't 100% sure if I trusted myself in the receiving of that because I had nothing to prove or to base it on, right? Could I read chakras? I don't know. And, but I trusted others as well when I received that, because I went right to my computer and I was like, hey, everybody, apparently I can read chakras. And I trusted fully in everything that unfolded from that. But I had that choice, right? And that is truly significant when you think about opening your crown chakra fully to receive everything that the divine is offering you. Because sometimes I think we get caught in the belief, which was, I'm going to share with you the misalignment for me, because there's two, was, every time something good happened in my life, something bad would happen. And of course, I don't ascribe to good, bad anymore, but they are easy. They're easy to refer to, that our brains can be like good or bad. Okay, we were taught that as kids. So we have like something in our brains that we can call back up to being reflecting those words as being true for us. So I would say every time something good would happen, something bad would happen. And lo and behold, every time I would go into a place where things would start to pick up, I would start to make money, my business would take off, something significant would happen, something else in my life would go into crisis. The roof would leak, car would break down, somebody in my family would get sick. There was always something. So I was in what would be kind of like a unconscious, conscious space where I wanted all of these great things in my life, but I unconsciously was calling the reverse or the opposite to me at the same time. So for every good that was happening, the polarity of the bad would happen at the same time, so that I was left kind of feeling like, how could you be doing this to me, God? What are you doing? What are you doing? I just want to be successful. But unconsciously, I was also calling the reverse or the opposing side of these things into my reality at the same time, because I didn't feel honestly deserving and worthy of success at that time when I was going through this. And this was prior to me being an author and an online coach. I mean, I was a personal trainer for almost a decade, and I was an entrepreneur. So I had my own business, Tamara's Training. And actually, what's really funny about that is a dear friend sent me my business card today in Facebook Messenger. She's like, oh my goodness, you've changed a lot, eh? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. But I did love that business card. It was beautiful. And my motto back then was, I will survive. I will survive was like what it said, Tamara's Training, I will survive. Like, just to give you a significant idea of how I was, experiencing life at that time. Like, we can all survive life, not even thrive. I just wanted to be surviving it at that time. But the thing about that realization, right, that I could have and be and do all of these amazing things, and I didn't have to receive something that wasn't of my highest value at the same time, that I could just allow myself to have abundance and incredible clients and celebrate their growth. And I could move across country and I could do all of these incredible things because I was deserving of it. I am deserving of it. I mean, I dropped at throat chakra that we all have the same capacity to receive the same amount of money as we do air. Like, that's when you allow yourself to really understand the purest possibility and the unlimited potential that is available to us right now. I mean, we just have to allow it. And, we can't selectively receive it. We've got to be either all the way open or we're not open. Those are the only two choices. We can't be like, yeah, I only want the things that I want in, and don't send me anything that I don't think is for me. Like, I don't want any people hurt or anything bad to happen or all of those kinds of things. Because again, when we're in the full trust of the divine, then we know that everything is happening for our highest good, and it's uncontrollable. We can control what's happening, what other decisions people are making, or, what's going to happen in the government or what's going to happen outside of us. But we can control how we relate to these experiences, how we focus our attention, our energy in the service of making the changes and the impacts that we're here to make. And so significantly in the Crown Chakra, what we were talking about at the end of Third Eye was that I'd mentioned Abraham Hicks, who hasn't heard of at least one Abraham Hicks video? And if you haven't, I have just given you a gift. She and her channeled collective Abraham, Esther Hicks and her channeled collective Abraham, are just so great. I mean, I've listened to them for years. And one of the things that we talk about is that there is a vortex. And if you think of a stream of receiving that is yours and only yours, and it doesn't take from anybody else, it comes from the cosmos, it comes from the divine directly into you. If you were a Star Trek fan, I think of a teleportation device when they're about to teleport and it comes directly overhead over them and then takes them to wherever they're going. That level is the vortex. And anything that you desire, because what I want in my life and business is not the same as what you want in your life and business. And this is an important part to note because it's only coming into my awareness because it already exists here in the now available to me today, right? It is mine. I just am going to work on my own vibrational frequency so that I can see it in my reality. Meaning that I'm going to do the internal work and I'm going to shift my state of being to see it in form in my reality. Because I already know it's mine and it's for me because I wouldn't be thinking about it if it wasn't. If I were to say, I want to be a published author, and some of you could be thinking, oh God, no, I don't ever want to write books. Ugh. Like that would take time and just like the sheer thought of sitting down and writing for hours makes me want to poke my eye out. Great, right? Like that's so awesome. Just like what you desire and dream is yours. And when we claim that, we claim our own vortex right away. So that's the first phase of really opening up the crown is like the things that you actually want, you claim them. You claim them, you claim them, you claim them. You are no longer embarrassed of them. Don't try to pretend that you don't want those things. I mean, I work a lot with money because, as a wealthy witch and having communications about money, I listen to people tell me all the time, that they don't want money. But by the time we're in the end of the conversation, they do want money, but they don't want the, attachment to the beliefs that they have about money. And cause it's never, money in itself is just an energetic flow of energy. It's a vibrational frequency that you align yourself to see it. It's not something that's outside of you. It's not something that you have to go and figure out how to make it. It already resides. We make money from the inside out, it doesn't come from an external place. And, we've got to claim that in which we desire first and foremost. So published author, I want to, impact 100 women in 2021 in some form, in some way. I want, but there's just like whatever your desires are, you claim them and understand that they're for you and of you and they exist in your reality right now by shifting your vibration. Phase 1. 2 is you spend more time in the awareness that it's there. You live as though you have these things. That's a fully open crown. Right? You are that person already. You don't have to become that person. And this is a big deal because we often think that once I have this revelation or I clear this thing or I've done this work or I've achieved this standard or this goal, then I'll be ready to receive it or I'll be worthy of receiving it. No, it's already yours, just as you are. You don't have to fix, change. You're not broken. You are not broken. I don't know my clients, I say that to you. You're not broken. You are not broken. You are whole. You were born whole. You were born perfect. You've accumulated some nonsense. And I say nonsense because we have the capacity to shift anything at any time. And if it's not of your highest good, then it is nonsense. If you're going to let somebody else who when you were 5 tell you that you cannot be wealthy or amazing or have the life of your dreams, it's nonsense. We can work through that. The other part about this is that you take time every day. Like this is the truth about the crown, to build the relationship with the divine source, creator, goddess, whomever it is that you call to. This is a relationship. It's constant work. You can get mad at the divine. P.S. This is not like you have to be fully in love with the divine at all times. I get pissed sometimes. I'm like, how can you let this happen? How? Like, I have been wanting this goal forever. Why are you taking so long? Right? Like, I get pissed sometimes. And then we work through it. because that's a relationship that is true. Like all relationships require both parties to be willing to get into the contrast and the puddle and the pool and the mess and grow and expand and fall even more deeply in love with each other. That's how I feel about the divine. Right? It's not a perfect relationship, but we're perfectly working on it. And so I get to a place where, I am in my vortex. I know that these things already exist for me. I am calling them to me, towards me, receiving them fully, knowing that I am fully open because everything that's coming in is of my highest good, no matter in what form it takes. Even if it seems like it's a challenge, that challenge, when I look back on it, when I've done the work, will be significant. There will be significant growth that happens afterwards. Oftentimes these challenges are the ones that offer the greatest transformations, even when we don't see them in the beginning. And always let yourself go into those experiences, those emotions, the feelings, because true success, you guys, is receiving the external trigger, blip, discomfort, and allowing yourself to go right in. Just get right in there and feel your way through to the other side. And that becomes coming back to homeostasis through transformation to the expanded state of your new self. When you allow yourself only to go into it a little bit and then, no, I can't do this, I don't have time, this can wait, whatever it is, you're just packing into those lower 3 chakras. And so you just keep doing this game and you keep collecting more and more and more. And then again, it affects you in such a deep level because every experience you have from that point on, you're feeling the things that you didn't deal with before, as well as what's happening in the present moment. Right? So the fastest and the best way to deal with anything is just to get through it fully. Allow yourself whatever you need to allow yourself, even if it's taking more rest days in your work week, because you just know you're going to need them. Ending your work day a little early, crying. I got on a group call for A Course in Miracles last year in tears in December because I was grieving and I just couldn't hold it in. And I was like, guys, I'm sad. And I'm just going to be sad. So please don't worry about me, but this is my emotion. And this is just how I am right now, right? There was like allowing it to be in all parts of me. I wasn't trying to hide it. And so ultimately what could have taken months, right, to get through, we now get through in, say, a month, and then we get through it in a week, and then we get through it in a few days. And then when we've become really ingrained in the process of allowing ourselves to feel through things, then we can really shorten the time of our experience when it's not massive and major, right, to hours, just because you allow yourself to be in it fully. And that is true success, right? That is when you can be embodied fully with your emotions, with your states, with your vibrations, with your resonance, with your coherence. And I mean, this is a lifelong journey for me. I know it's a lifelong journey for me, and I am not going to tell you I am perfect at this. I am working on this as a student of this, and I will never not be a student of this because this is how I expand into really allowing myself to receive more, allowing myself to give more, allowing myself to have more, allowing myself to be more. It's just, the relationships that are more intimate with the divine, with others, with myself, intimacy, you name it, is significantly different in this role. Now I'm going to share one thing, and I'll share it in the conclusion episode as well. And that is that thinking about being in your own vortex of receiving, allowing yourself to see that stream of consciousness flowing into you and through you as a vehicle for you to then project this love light service energy out into the world through all forms, through all ways, speaking it in the throat, Care Bear stare in your heart, really feeling the connection to the worthiness piece and the cosmos in your solar plexus, using this divine receive as confidence through your sacral, allowing yourself to be fully seen and connecting to your community and your root, right? Like when you're in that vortex state, it's yours, right? You can feel that resonance. When you're out of alignment and you're not in your own divine download and receive, you start looking at everybody else's. You start looking over to Molly Jane and Sue and Tommy and, all these other people, and you're looking at what they have that you don't have. And your divine download starts to kind of like siphon off parts of what your receive are. You start to give them to all these other people because you're so focused on them. You're splitting your own receive pattern and sharing it with everybody else, and which gives you even more ammunition to focus on them because you see them as receiving that in which you do not have. And that's impossible. It's impossible because they are in their own divine receive teleportation vortex. And there's no way that they can take from yours because that is specific to you. And so this is one of the resistances of the crown chakra is comparisonitis. It's like if you're focusing on others, you are offering what you are receiving into your being, in your body, to them because you are placing your attention on them and not on yourself, on your service, on your impact, on your devotion, on how you're showing up and being the light in the world that you are here to be. So, how do we get out of that is we keep bringing it back to our center, to our truth, to being in the crown chakra where we're visualizing ourselves in these expressions of having, being, doing that which we desire already accomplished. That's how we stay in our own divine receive, is we just keep focusing on what's coming up the pipeline as if it's already here. It's like, I think of, I did a meditation this morning and it was a timeline. It was a future self meditation. And for me, it was like I was being pulled through this timeline and watching my business grow. And I was watching the events and the people as they were passing through my existence into these like incredible images of having an apartment in London, England, because that's where my publisher will be. And I may, and the publishing company bringing me to all these glorious places to speak and having the space to write more and create more oracle decks. And it's just like this beautiful vortex. And I was just like in the receiving of it and being like, oh my God, yes, 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 yes. That's how we remain open in our crown chakras. So we don't need to be in the worry state of seeing what we don't have. We're focused on what we do have through this incredible capacity to tap in and to have access to this stream of consciousness and divine energy and unlimited potential through our crowns up in, and then we ground it through the body. This is why third eye and crown can be so favored, is because we could get lost up there. We can get lost up there. We can stay up in these beautiful visions and visualizations. And side note, I'm not a huge visualization person. So if you're not, don't feel bad. I'm a big person of energy. Like I feel it and I see colors. So when I'm giving you this, timeline, it's a lot of impressions, right? I see a certain color and it gives me a particular meaning, or I have a feeling of opening up the apartment and being in a London apartment. I'm not actually seeing the apartment. That's not my version of visualization. And I want you guys to hear that because it doesn't have to look like detailed for you. You're not doing anything wrong at all. Right? It's going to be what it's going to be for you. And so you just allow it to be beautiful. And if you're not a visual person and see the world visually, you most likely won't have visual visions when you're doing this exercise. Just so that I'm sharing a little bit of behind the scenes. So I get lots of color, lots of feeling and emotion when I'm doing it. And so you spend your time there, up in this beautiful ethers and up with the cosmos and up in these divine realms. And then you pull it down into your body. You embody it. You ground yourself into this present moment. And that's how it comes into form. And so you don't want to stay up there, because a lot of people I read energy of oftentimes will prefer it up there because, sometimes reality and humanness is heavy. And if you have a lot of emotions that you're carrying in your body and they're dense, why would you want to be in there, right? And so Third Eye and Crown offer this opportunity to spend time in communication with higher energies. But you do want to pull it in. You do want to ground it in. You do want to embody it. You do want to be in your body to experience this world. That is actually why I believe we choose these bodies, is because we can have these emotions. And the whole spectrum of them are so worth having, even the ones that we've been told to avoid or not have. The ecstasy and the bliss are just as impactful as the sadness and the grief. And when we can love them all so fully and choose them, then we are bringing ourselves into the experience of, Earth as we know it, and celebrating, why we chose this body, this life, this experience, this, service, this turn for our growth, for our expansion. So yeah. Keep that channel open. Go spend time in your creation of what your future self is. Bring that into the body, embody it, and stay in your stream, in yours. You don't need to go looking at what everybody else is doing, because when you focus on yours, then you really allow yourself to hold space for what true abundance and wealth is, because you'll be celebrating everybody else's, because you'll understand how good it feels to just be in the receiving of what everybody has opportunity to receive. And magnetism, you'll inspire others through this and allow them to receive as well, just by witnessing you. That's what, shifting of energy is. You shift yours into a new vibration, to a higher vibration, and invite others to align into theirs simply by being, open to being the tailwind of your experience. So it's significant and beautiful and powerful. So yeah, that was a lot in Crown. A lot. This might be one of my longer episodes. And I'm excited to share with you guys the cheat sheet next week, where you can I really just want to hammer it out so that if you're listening, you can just write it down. Root, resistance, what I can do to pull myself into alignment, sacral resistance, what I can do, and just go through each of the chakras so that you will have that information directly in front of you, able to then walk away and have, like I said, a cheat sheet, a chakra cheat sheet from misalignment to alignment in 3.2 seconds. I don't know if it would take that less of time, but in a perfect world that we create, why wouldn't it? Just saying. Again, I'm really excited about the interview this week. It is with Jen Anderson, the happiness coach, and we share something significant about coaching. And it was interesting because her and I hadn't talked about this, and it was part of our coaching relationship until the episode was recorded. So it's a really powerful invitation to be in the moment with us as we delve into a very emotional part of our relationship and closure. And yeah, I wouldn't miss it if I were you. So tune in to Jen's and my interview and next week's cheat sheet. And I'll tell you what the next season of the Rebel Unicorn podcast is going to be as well. We'll talk to you then. Wow, that episode was mind-blowing. I hope you had as many ahas listening to it as I had recording it. I would love to see the Rebel Unicorns podcast spread far and wide across the globe, across the universe. So if you want to share it on your social media with something that you found impactful, leave a review, send it to a friend. It would be so deeply appreciated. Also, a little side note, I did recently change my name. I downloaded a year and a half ago that my name was Avalon Starlight. It was previously my birth name was Tamara Arnold. And if you're interested in learning what your Rebel Unicorn house is, there's a quiz for that. Think Harry Potter, except you're sorted into how you are impacting the world with your Stardust and what energy you're here to shift and change. You can find out your Rebel Unicorn house at www.tamaraarnold.ca/quiz. Let me know, tag me in social media, send the quiz out, and join the Rebel Unicorns Facebook group to be in a community of like-minded spiritual entrepreneurs who understand that when you shift your energy, you transform your business.